What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 9 of Towel or Town. Yes, it is Park to Prem, and today we're in the FA Cup. It's the first qualifying round, and well, it's not actually the first round for us. Apparently there are preliminary rounds, then qualifying rounds, then the FA Cup proper. We've done 2 of the games to get to where we are today, and today we are going to be taking on Swindon Supermarine, who play 2 leagues above us. And yet, despite being away from home, we are the favourites. That makes me feel pretty good inside about how good our team is, as does our recent form. So yes, today we're going to go through the form to start the season. Of course, this is the second episode of Season 2. And following on from that, I want to do a run through of the squad, because there's been a few players move in and out, and we're finally at a point now where I feel like we've got a bit of stability at the team. You might notice, by the way, Jermaine Anderson, currently on trial with us. He's an absolutely crazily good centre mid. I've been trying to get hold of him. We had breakdowns in talks, but he's on trial for another 3 weeks or so. He would be a fantastic addition. And well, before we get into the games, we have made a few new additions. I feel like it's worth talking about them. On the out, a big loss. Andy Jackson, our star right back, has gone to Radcliffe, which is a problem because we didn't really have an exceptional backup right back, but we're going to try and make do. And also Adam Saxon, who is a younger player, has left us. So sad to see him go to Parkgate, but at the same time he wasn't ever really playing regularly for us. On the int, we've made a few new signings. Jude Swales joins us as a right back option. I want to say he's the replacement for Andy Jackson, but that's not really the case. He's kind of a backup, and instead we've promoted from within in the right back position. We brought in Matty Rain, who is just a youngster for the under-23s, who can play left back and right back. You know, a bit of a punt for the future, I guess. And then a few pretty big transfers. Henry Flatters, a good goalkeeper. With all the turnover in goalkeepers we've had, we only had 2 first-choice goalkeepers in the first team. I like to have 3 goalkeepers in the first team, just in case. He joined us, a very good player, former Middlesbrough man. And then 2 huge signings and 2 former Manchester United players. The first, Connor Stanley here. He's had an okay start to his time at the club, coming on off the bench, but he's a very good player. You can see here, formerly of Manchester United, joined them on a free transfer from Birmingham, and yeah, he doesn't look too bad at all as a player that we brought in on fairly low money. And the other player we've signed, Max Haygarth, who is another player from Manchester United. He has joined us, as you can see here, on £140 a match, which is actually pretty low, but he's a really good playmaker for this level. 13 passing, 12 vision. We've not really had a player like that besides David Vaughn in our team. So to have an 18-year-old who's a playmaker like that, I feel like bodes really well. Anyway, you saw the recent form. We've won our last 5 games, and well, you can just see a sea of green here. I'm going to be honest, folks. I think we're going to walk the league this year, but that does open up the opportunity to really focus on lots of cup competitions, including hopefully an FA Cup run, because the finances aren't getting any better, at least at the moment. So we really do need to win against Swindon Supermarine here. The board expectation is to reach the 3rd qualifying round of the FA Cup. This is only the first round, so we've got a long way to go. Originally, we were going to do the game against Concept today, but due to the FA Cup jigging around fixtures, we're not playing them for another month. And despite the fact they are listed as our key rivals, I don't feel like they're going to be much of a rival to us this year. Anyway, first and foremost, let's talk about the league games. Then we will talk about the FA Cup. I feel like that's probably the best way to do things here as I untick and tick everything. So yes, if we just untick the FA Cup and we can get rid of no competitions. In the league, this has been our form. We've kept clean sheets in half of our games to start the year. Against Ashington, of course, we won 5-1 last episode. And from there, we've continued to do very well. Against Loughborough Uni, a 5-0 win. Taylor Knowles with a hat-trick. Unfortunately, he's a player who we can't afford to give a new contract to. I really want to give him a new contract, but I just can't give him money that he's going to be happy with at the moment. But yes, he's been in fine goal-scoring form. Kunwenda got a goal, as did Ryan Ferguson. So those trio of attackers doing well, and that's kind of been the general trend. Against Hebburn, we won 2-0. Knowles and Emerton with the goals. Against Wickham, a 3-2 win. Ryan Ferguson with 2. Kit Taylor with his first ever senior goal, playing out on the left-hand side as an inverted winger. Lovely little goal for him there. We then took on Penrith, who you might remember we lost to in the FA Vars last year. Revenge was ours. A 4-0 win. Nice to see Michaela get a goal, although since he has been demoted to the reserves. And James Pearcey also getting off the mark at the club. And to be honest, he's been a bit of a surprise package at centre-back. A player we signed last year from North Ferriby as a backup centre-back. He's played 3 games for us. He's got 2 blooming goals. He's on fire. Anyway, we then took on Shildon, Ryan Ferguson, grabbing a hat-trick, proving he could do it at this level, as did Sonny Best. Not grab a hat-trick, but get a goal. He's got a bit of a graph all over the place looking at it here. His determination's dropping, his flair's going down, his off the ball's rocketing up, his leadership's gone up. But all in all, 5 assists, 2 goals. He is adapting at this level, and that is really nice to see. Against Ryhope, a 5-4 ding-dong battle. A great game, this one. It went down to the wire, but we did get the win in the end. Shout out to Henry Kumwenda, who got a 93rd minute goal in that one. And then most recently, we took on Sunderland RCA and got a 3-1 win there. So yes, that's the league. It's been going pretty well, as you saw. I am currently breaking my view, as you can see. But if we look at the FA Cup, we have played 2 games and 2 pretty similar matches. It'll be interesting to see if today follows suit. Against Romulus, we had a catastrophe to start the game. A defensive howler, they capitalised, to be fair to them, and got off the mark. Then after 10 or so minutes going a goal down as early as we did, it didn't feel particularly great, especially against a team like Romulus, who I believe they're 1 tier above us, but a strong team. But we fought back well. And well, we just kept making the most of set pieces, which the board were delighted about. That's been the big expectation from them. 3 corners in the space of 10 minutes resulted in 3 goals. Not necessarily directly, but David Vaughn's quality in terms of putting the ball into the box was evident in that win. And then against Hullbridge, another 3-1 win, as you can see here. And again, we came back from behind. It was, well, not the easiest of games against Hullbridge. They are a team we play in the Essex Senior League, which I believe is 1 tier above us, although, again, as I always say, it gets a little bit confusing this far down the footballing ladder. They may even be in the same tier as us now I think about it. But either way, a 3-1 win. We went marching on. And that's how we end up against Swindon Supermarine today. So yes, off on the pitch, it's been going absolutely fantastically. Genuinely couldn't have asked for anything better than what we've achieved so far this year. It's been pretty flawless. You saw the league table, but just to look at it again, 10 points clear of Concert, who are, well, do have a game in hand, but we're still pulling way away from them. You can see a plus 23 goal difference. And looking at the stats, Ryan Ferguson and Kumwenda, 8 goals each in the league, and we've only played 8 games. And David Vaughn, 5 assists for the man. Absolutely insane. That great vision and passing. And he's been a big beneficiary of our system. Not only from set pieces with his corners, but also as a deep line playmaker for us. Anyway, as I said, I do want to give a bit more of a team overview today. I feel like we've had quite a high turnover of players recently, and it's worth just refreshing ourselves on the squad, getting, I guess, back to grips with who's who and who the big players are to look at. But just before we do that, I want to look at our team report. You can see here the squad depth and strength is just also evident. We've been absolutely superb recently. Our assistant is absolutely loving it. There is nothing that we really lack. And while you can see, looking at our analyst report here, great dribblers, stamina's been fantastic. We have great aerial ability, and that's been evident from, I guess, the number of set pieces we're scoring. If we look just at the league and team detailed stats, you can see here, obviously, we've won a lot of games in a row, as you would come to expect. But goals from corners, we have scored 3 goals from corners in 8 games. We've also scored from indirect free kicks, 5 goals. Yeah, we've been crazily clinical from the set pieces. Defensively, we've been pretty solid as well. 4 clean sheets is not too bad. And long may it continue. As I said, this year now, for me, and maybe I'm talking prematurely here, feels like a year where we should focus on cup competitions, try and get some silverware, up our manager reputation. And, well, if we just have a look at things here, this is my best 11 as things stand. Let's have a look through it. Of course, a few players you are familiar with. In goal, Stratham has held down this spot. He joined us at the start this year. So far, so very, very good. His average rating, not necessarily the craziest, but in terms of clean sheets, absolutely superb for us. Donnelly Blackburn, of course, holding down the left-back position. Then Ginger Ninja, one of the few players who's been with us from start to finish. I talked about last episode the fact that we got told by someone in the comments section about offering players contracts ahead of schedule. I've done that with a lot of players, including Donnelly Blackburn. You can see if we just click through our squad. I haven't been able to do it with a lot of the big, high-profile names that we've signed over the course of the last few months. But in terms of more established players, you can see as I just click through here, most of them have now agreed these provisional contracts, which I do believe means they cannot leave and will not leave until that contract at least takes place and starts, being enacted in April. So yes, Donnelly Blackburn at left back, a loyal player for us, been absolutely superb. At right back, of course, we have Robson, joined us last year, played a decent chunk of games as a centre-back. This year he's made the transition to right back very, very well for us so far. In the centre of the defence, we have former Preston man Lewis Earle, a player who is naturally a right back. I really don't rate his right-back ability. As a wing-back, he just has too many gaps in his game. The first touch, the passing, the technique, it's just not there for him. But in terms of just as a out-and-out centre-back at this level, superb. And he's done a really good job alongside our star player, no doubt, Deshaun Bernard, who, unsurprisingly, at least last time I checked, doesn't want to sign a new contract with us. He's far too good for our team. We will lose him at some point, but we're going to enjoy him whilst we can. And yeah, a 7.76 average rating so far to start the year. It's a little bit better defensively than we saw last season. Anyway, in terms of the centre mids, obviously, I've talked about David Vaughn and how good he has been for us. Make no mistake, he has been very, very good. But due to his physicals being as bad as they are, he doesn't really play every game for us. He just physically can't. And with Haygarth recently joining us from Manchester United, I want to lean more on this guy now to be our deep line playmaker, a real player of quality. 13 passing, 12 vision, physicals not particularly great, but in this system where he almost acts as a quarterback in our team as that deep line playmaker, looking to spread balls out wide to the more athletic wing backs, the inverted wingers, the pacey forwards as well. He doesn't need that pace, and alongside him he's got Romario Vieira, who is going to do a lot of the running for him. Yes, he isn't the quickest player, but at this level, great work rate, great stamina, real workhorse in the team. Great bit of news, he is one of the players who has signed a provisional deal at the club that doesn't even feature a wage rise. So I was a bit worried if we were going to lose this guy because he's pretty unmatched in terms of what he offers us. The good news, he's still here and he's here to stay. Out on the right, this guy, Sonny Best. He has been superb. He has stepped up, much like Luke Ferguson has. Out on the left, Connor Stanley, new addition to the team. He has got a lot of competition at the left wing alongside Kit Taylor. If we just compare these two guys, they're exceptional players. They're quite different. Kit Elliott, not Kit Taylor, but Kit Elliott is just quick, physical, a little bit better in the air, whereas Stanley is your more traditional winger. No aerial ability at all. And at least at the moment, I'm leaning more towards Kit Taylor being the man for me. I just like that extra degree of pace and physicality. But at the same time, Stanley has a little bit more creativity about him in the final third. Anyway, up front, Ryan Ferguson, star player, fans love him alongside Sonny Best. He is one of the beloved players here at the club. 9 goals so far this season is top draw for him. Really has stepped up again this year, which I was a little bit unsure if he would be able to. And alongside him, the schoolboy, Henry Kunwenda, 17 years old. He is a happy, clappy chappy. Look how happy he is. That's how I feel right now with how we're doing in the league. 8 goals in 7 games. He has adapted to playing regular first-team football superbly. And then on the bench, obviously we've talked about Kit Elliott. Jack of all trades, master of some, really, a versatile attacking option. Taylor Knowles, club record transfer, £1,000 we paid. He's developed a little bit as of late, trying to give him lots of football. He's scored a decent number of goals, 5 in the league. That is attracting a lot of interest from afar. I feel like it might be inevitable that we lose this guy because with the current financial situation, I can't offer him the kind of money that he wants to stay. Anyway, Zimba unfortunately is injured, but when he's fit, he is an absolute workhorse in the centre of the midfield. A player who I know I can bring on. He can play as the deep line playmaker or more often than not as the supporting centre mid, the one who does all the legwork. And he's very, very good at it. And then other players we've got on the bench. Jerome Jolly. I feel like him and Sonny Best, they have a little bromance going on. You've got Jolly and you've got Sonny. And between them, they make everyone else happy. You can see he can play left back, he can play left wing. As far as subs go at this level, that degree of versatility is superb. And then the last but not least player on the bench, Sam Greenwood. You know this guy was our centre-back all of last year. The fans do like this guy a lot. You'll notice that with a lot of these players, we have rotated the team very, very heavily this year. Everyone is getting some game time. I mean, in the month of August, you can see how many games we played. We played 9 or 10 games in all competitions, which is absolutely crazy, and it doesn't look like it's going to slow down. So rotation is absolutely paramount in order to keep on top of fitness. And that is something that we've had to do so far, and obviously you can tell by the amount of appearances everyone has, that's very much been the case. Of course, the rest of the team, very, very quickly. David Vaughn, superb player on his day, will be on the bench for today's FA Cup game because we have an extra sub. Zimba also, of course, can't play. Roy Loy, also known as Rory Loy, a veteran of the team, 32 years old, fallen a little bit by the wayside this year, but he's happy to be that more supportive, mature head, I guess, in the dressing room. He doesn't expect to play every game. This is his retirement home. We're happy to have him. The rest of the players, we've got Jude Swales, we recently signed from Newcastle. Good athlete, not the craziest attacking fullback option, but in terms of strength and depth, he offers us, adequate coverage at right back. Danny Emerton, versatile winger, can play either side. Slightly overshadowed by some of the younger attacking midfielders we've now got in the team, but he's still a very, very useful squad player to have. Again, his versatility at this level, very, very nice. Tibbets, great goalkeeper. Probably won't see much of him, but he has agreed a pre-contract, like a lot of these players have, so he won't be going anywhere. Adi Wussy joined us last year from North Ferriby. Again, fantastic athletic centre mid. My kind of centre mid at this level. I really admire and love having players with insane physicals. I feel like with the fixture congestion like it is, players struggle for fitness. They struggle for stamina. If you can have players who just have a sea of yellow when it comes to the physicals, you're off to a flyer. Obviously, Harry Flatters has joined us, former Middlesbrough youngster, good goalkeeper, may get some chances in the first team as the season goes on. And then two more players to go through. Joe Nolan, this guy's okay. I thought more of him when he first came to us, having been able to sign a few more centre mids, having seen what's available. He's a good talent. He's a good youngster. But I'm just so put off by the one dribbling and the one finishing, and it's just free concentration. That's a little bit low even for me, is basically what I'm saying. I feel like what he can actually offer us is kind of limited. I am training him to play right back for a bit of coverage, but yeah, I'm not overly fussed about keeping him on. I'm sorry, Joe. And I've talked about Zimba, but Piercy here, great player, had a really good goal-scoring start to the season, joined us from North Ferriby last year. So far, so very, very good for him. So that's kind of the team. We have trimmed it down quite a bit, but obviously there's been such a high turnover, which is always inevitable. But I do finally feel like now we're at a point where the squad makes sense. Sometimes you go on one of those sprees where you just start signing so many players, you lose track of the squad, who's who, how many centre-backs you have. You suddenly look at your team and you've got 8 defenders. That may have happened last year, and we kind of I started squirreling players away in the under-23s. I don't want to do that anymore. And now that we know that we can offer these players, contracts where we say, hey, at the end of the year, we'll offer you these improved terms, that at least allows me to know that I've got players until the end of this season. And that amount of planning is useful. Anyway, we're going to get into this game. We're playing the new 4-4-2. Of course, it has served us so well. I feel like in FM20, strike partnerships, having 2 attackers just seems to work better than having us lone forward. We've certainly experienced that with our goal scoring. Swindon Supermare here. They're a good team. They are predicted to, do quite well in their league. They play 2 divisions ahead of us, and yet we are favourites. And our squad's very, very strong on paper for the level that we play at. I am, the recruitment work I've done in terms of really headhunting former players of the likes of Manchester United, youngsters who have been dropped off, I feel like has paid off. I have spent a lot of time between episodes just looking out for players and kind of, doing player searches, just manually searching for things. I feel like when you look at the team now, that's evident. We have such a strong team for this level. And this is the kind of game where I want to see us be competitive. I want to try and find out through the FA Cup this year, what is our true level? We're a Tier 9 club. Today we're taking on a team who play in Tier 7. We're favourites, we're away from home, it's not necessarily going to be easy, but after 10 minutes we do look the better team, and that fills me with hope. And also a lot of optimism as the ball is linked forward to Ferguson. Can he score it? Ryan Ferguson, of course he can score it. Connor Stanley with the goal, with the assist as well. Talked about kind of the creativity that he can offer over Kit on the left-hand side, and you saw it right there. The goal kick played forward, Kumwenda with the ball, dinked from Stanley from deep. And Ryan Ferguson, he does Ryan Ferguson things. He stamps it home, posts it, delivers it, back of the net. And he was onside. I don't need to see another replay. I know he was onside, and I know that the ref thinks he's onside. He could have been offside, but I don't want to worry about that. We've not got VAR to worry about at this level. I've got enough worries. Although, one of the problems that I now don't have to worry about, based on our latest contract kind of discovery, is the fact that I know I've got these players to the end of the year for the most part. Obviously, as I mentioned, a few of the star players haven't been able to sign on to these newer deals. A few of the players who are on, higher earnings, I can't do it with, mostly because of the financial situation. But we do have a core of a team now that I'm hoping can gel, and I'm hoping that we can, build up into something more. And while we're doing very well here, Ferguson dispossessed with his back to goal. Sonny Best was lurking to his right, waiting for it. And well, Swindon, they're bringing the ball forward here. Oh, what a tackle that is by him there. Absolutely top draw by the defender. 13 minutes gone. We've had 3 clear-cut chances. The fact that it's only 1-0 is concerning. This is the FA Cup. This is the magical cup. I want to go on a cup run. I need to save the finances if we can here. The good news is we have got our noses ahead a little bit. In some ways, a replay would be good. I say that. Traditionally, a replay is good in the FA Cup. If you don't know, the FA Cup is known in England. It's the big competition where everyone plays in it. I know for some of you guys, you know this, but we have an international audience. But the FA Cup, teams from throughout the whole country play in it. It's the one where anyone can win it, basically. And the financial gains that smaller teams can get is huge. And, well, Conwenda scores to make it 2-0. But the reason it's so huge is because of gate receipts, but also because if games get on TV, the money is split. And with gate receipts and the money taken from fans attending the stadium, I believe it's split 50-50, which obviously, if you can imagine you get drawn against Manchester United, suddenly you're getting 60,000 fans go to a match, 30,000 people's ticket prices goes to your club. And for a small non-league club, there was an incident with Lincoln a few years ago who played in the Vanarama National League at the time. They went on a really good run. They knocked out a few very big teams, including Burnley, eventually lost to Arsenal, if I'm not mistaken. But because of that run and because of the money they got back-to-back promotions into League One. This is something that can really make or break clubs. And whilst I don't think we're going to get to the third round, even if we could just get to the first or second round proper and get a League One opposition team, that would be pretty huge for our finances. And that has to be the aspiration. During pre-season, we got spanked by a lot of League One teams. We did beat Barnsley 3-2 and draw against Peterborough. But granted, it was their B team, so it's possible. But I guess we've got to take it one game at a time. There is so many qualifying rounds to get to. I don't know if we're going to live com each and every one of these. If we get through this round and we get to the next round, we'll take it one opposition at a time. I guess I can't afford to get too ahead of myself, but this competition, I can't understate its importance in this kind of save game. The finances it can offer, even just winning, at the occasional round, it makes a difference. And for us this year, it could be huge. As Conwenda's through again. We've had 6 clear-cut chances. Conwenda and Ferguson are punishing this high defensive line that Swindon want to play against us. It feels like, they're probably coming here feeling like they're the bigger team at home and they want to attack on the front foot. And it's just given us so much space to get in behind them. Well, we need to be a little bit wary here. Spalding on the left-hand side. Donnelly Blackburn, the Ginger Ninja, doesn't put in a great tackle. Stratham holds on to it. For a second, I was fearful he was just going to drop it to the attacker lurking away. It looked like one of those kind of FM highlights. Anyway, Earl to spread the ball to Robson at right back. What can he do? The wing back on support brings it forward, plays it through to Sonny Best. What can he do? He puts it in. It's headed away kind of. He should beat his man to the ball there. He does. He whips it back post. Conwenda's there. Falls to Ferguson. Vieira hits it. Oh my gosh. I thought that was going to fly into the top corner. 2-0 at the break though. That is very, very good, boys. Exactly what we want to see. I want cup runs. I want silverware. This kind of competition gives me as a manager, selfishly, a good chance to improve my reputation. As much as I'm attached to Tower Town, this series is about me going from the park to the Prem, not necessarily the club that we're at. Although, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I quite like it here at Tower at the moment, and I'd quite like to take them a reasonable distance. I don't know if it'll be all the way, but I feel like we've got a few years left here yet. Anyway, ball lumped forward. Ronaldo Vieira gives it across, and Sonny Best. What can he do here? He's got the pace to get in behind again and again. He lays it to Ryan Ferguson. It's two of the icons from last year linking up. I mean, Ferguson's giving it large to the fans. Look at them. Some of them are distraught. It's 3-0. It's a humiliation. And, well, you can see there Haygarth, who's playing what I will call the David Vaughn role in the team, the quarterback role. He plays out wide. Sonny Best just turns on the afterburners and runs like the wind, lays it to Ferguson. And it was flashbacks to last season, wasn't it? Quick free kick taken by them there. Oh my gosh, if that had caught us out, that would have been a bit disastrous. Not often you see a quick free kick taken in the match engine. Anyway, looking at the team here, Stanley's struggling a little bit for fitness. I'm going to bring in Kit Elliott, and I'm also going to bring in David Vaughn for Haygarth. Both Stanley and Haygarth, of course, the new signings from Manchester United, or at least new signings who were formerly of Manchester United. Their match fitness isn't quite there yet. They've shown their quality in this game. They've made a really big difference for us. But David Vaughn, Kit Elliott, two top quality players who I feel like in this kind of game can make a difference. Particularly Kit Elliott, out on the left-hand side. He's very, very, very quick for this level. Tiring legs for Swindon. They're going to have played a lot of games as of late. Could benefit us a lot, although we've been caught out for the first time all game. That is a professional foul. Earl is going to get a red card. We might have squeaky bum time to end the year. How old is Simon Downer there? He looks very old. I'm sorry, 38, Simon. It's a great beard, Simon. You look. I don't want to say he looks older than 38 because I know what YouTube's like. Everyone knows everyone is what I've learned with this series. The amount of people who I've had say, "Oh, I went to school with this player you've signed or this player you're playing against." It's happened quite a few times. I just hope no one knows him. Anyway, I kind of just need to play things safe here. The issue I've got is Kit Taylor and Best. Neither of them can do that much defensively. They're not players who can naturally play wide mid. You know what? Romario Vieira and Vaughn, just sit a little. We'll go to fullbacks on defend. We're 3-0 up. This should be fine. But I feel like a degree of sensibleness is probably required here. Let's not look for the overlaps anymore. Less passing into space. And time waste. I know we're 3-0 up and it might be completely unnecessary. I want to make sure we win this game. I've just spent the last 10 minutes telling you how important this competition is. Oh my gosh, is this really going to happen? It's 3-1 and we've gone from being in cruise control to Jamie Edge scoring an absolute... I mean, it's a thunderbolt is what it is. Off the bottom of the... I mean, you get style points, don't you, when you hit the crossbar? It's like in Tony Hawk when you chain two moves together. If the ball hits the crossbar and goes in from a free kick, it's like double points. Right, Elliott plays the ball forward to Ferguson. I mean, Ryan Ferguson's not got the memo about us being a man down. Now with Elliott, what can he do? I mean... That for some reason I was expecting something better than that. Oh dear. Oh dear. Not perfect is probably the best way to describe that. They've got a free kick in a wide area. There is 3 minutes left. Surely this is our game to lose now. To Kit Elliott. He's fresh off the bench. He should be able to beat his man here. Doesn't even try and beat his man. Just has an effort on his left foot. Couldn't be bothered. Robson... He's on a injury on the right back position, so they might try and exploit that. But with 2 minutes left, this has got to be done, right? It's not been the comfortable ending I wished for, but, well, it could end up being as Kit Elliott hits it. That's why he was doing the other shots, apparently. It's 4-1. Ryan Ferguson turns provider. And despite a little bit of a scare, you'd have to say we've been absolutely deserved winners of this game. Ferguson works his magic, gives it to Kit Elliott. And on his left foot, just pings it into the bottom corner. It wasn't even right into the bottom corner, but he hit it with so much power. It beat his man. That's a 4-1 win. What prize money do we get for this? That's now what I'm wondering, because the prize money at every stage of this competition is going to be important. I don't think the first qualifying round gets on TV, so hoping for TV money is probably a tad bit ambitious. $6,000. Can we check the prize money for each round? How far do we need to go in this competition for it to be worth significant money? Winner prize money for the next round is 9 grand. For the round after that, 15. For the 4th qualifying round, 25. The board expectation is to reach the 3rd round. We've now made it into the 2nd round. I'd love to make it. The 1st round has got to be the aim as a minimum. And that's when the big boys start to come in. Although actually, the big boys start to come in the 3rd and 4th round, if I'm not mistaken. We could probably look at the number of teams in the competition and work it out. I don't know when the Vanarama National North and South teams come into it, because that'll be where we might have problems if we get one of those. Also don't know when the next FA Cup draw is. It isn't appearing on the calendar, so I'm going to assume it's indefinitely in the future. But whenever that does come around, we'll be back. Robson has picked up a Brushin. That's not the end of the world. How is our finances looking with that 6 grand? I mean, we've made 2 grand profit for the month after 5 days. If you were wondering, last month I think we made a loss of about £10,000. So that gives you a rough estimate for where we are going to be. But yeah, the fixtures continue to pile up. The FA Cup 2nd round is on the 19th. I don't know who we're going to have for that. Maybe we'll be back for it. Let me know in the comments, would you like to see the FA Cup run in detail? Because I feel like the league is going to be, at least it looks like right now, a little bit of a cakewalk. And actually the future of the club and the future of whether or not I stay at the club might come down to, can we sort the finances this year for an FA Cup run? We'll have to wait and see. We'll see who we get drawn against. We may be back for that. I might chance it on the fact we can make it to the 3rd qualifying round, which is the board expectation, and take things from there. But I do hope you've enjoyed today's episode, guys. Last few have been slightly longer. Next episode, I promise, will be shorter, but I wanted to give you guys that nitty-gritty Football Manager detail of, you know, a bit of a who's who in our team. But hopefully you feel like you're familiar with the boys now. Obviously, the likes of Sonny Best, Ferguson, the schoolboy come Wender himself, Romario Vieira. There's some names in there who are going to stick with me throughout this whole series. Hopefully they're here for the long haul, and well, hopefully you guys are too. I will see you guys tomorrow for episode number 10, and that is all from me today. Thank you for watching. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.